Emma Jane joined our school just about 18 months ago, having spent her nursery education at Cedar School in Southampton. And she's got cerebral palsy, which affects her lower limbs, and she's got some visual impairment and needs considerable help with the physical elements, and needs a lot of one-to-one support to enable her to access the curriculum.
She's in my class and I know her quite well. Once when we were in the adventure playground, we were playing over there, and Emma Jane was the queen and we were both princesses and Matthew was the king.
There were some initial problems when Emma Jane arrived at school, because although we'd actually visited Emma Jane at Cedar School, I think we were unaware really of the level of resources we would need to ensure that she could access the curriculum and meet her physical needs. When she arrived, we didn't have disabled toilet facilities, and we had to wait 3 or 4 months before they were built. So that caused us quite a few problems in the early days. Our staff were not adequately trained. We didn't have a specialist member of staff trained in order to initially sort of meet the needs in terms of carrying out physiotherapist programs and toileting programs, and just managing lifting and handling procedures. We have been very fortunate in that training has been provided through Cedar School and through our liaison with physiotherapists and occupational therapists, but it actually was quite a challenge in the early days.
Now, we've just talked about this metal. What do you think it is?
Brass.
No.
Oh no! Copper.
Emma Jane, before she came to the school, she was going to Cedar School, a special school the other side of town, where she was there in her nursery class. We didn't have that many choices of schools, as far as I knew, but we were lucky that this was the first one that I saw we liked, and we managed to get her in.
I like playing different games every day, but sometimes I play the same game. Writing, walking, because when I first came in the school I couldn't do it, and then when I practiced it was easy.
Emma Jane's made enormous progress since she's been here. She actually did come to the school and she wasn't toilet trained. She now is fully toilet trained and can access the toilet with some help, but largely independently. She is a very sociable child, very happy, mixes very well with the other children, and apart from her physical disabilities you wouldn't actually notice that she was any different from any of the other children.
I like it because it's got things that I like doing, and it's got loads of things that you can do. I like it because it's nice.
Emma Jane's got another 18 months with us, and her needs are constantly changing. We need to be aware that she will continue to provide a challenge for us and any school that she would be moving to. We've learnt an enormous amount from having Emma Jane with us. It has been a challenge, but we now feel we're really well equipped to deal with any disability we feel. And I think the most important thing that we've learned is that we must constantly be adaptable, and that despite the challenges, it's been very rewarding and incredibly worthwhile.
I don't have many friends, but I just come in, do my subjects and leave again. I hit 2 teachers with my rucksack in year 8. I was out for over 12 months.
Andrew joined us from Northern Primary School in year 7, which was the same time as I started the school here. But he was a very tense young man, and we soon discovered that all sorts of triggers, very minor triggers, would trigger Andrew into having quite bizarre behaviour patterns. For example, if Andrew was writing down a piece of work and it was cleared from the board before he was finished, he may well shout out, throw his chair back, hide under the table, or worse still, very frequently run out of the classroom, lock himself into a toilet somewhere.
Do you remember the time when I asked us to do a role play? Yeah, that was about a week ago. Yeah? Who can remind me what it is we were doing when we did that role play, Andrew?
We were acting out the time when we got angry and the time and something that we could have done to prevent it.
Is Andrew right, Tanaka? Yeah. He is, isn't he? Excellent. We remembered a time when we had got angry and we acted out what had happened and how we handled it.
When the group is full, there are 8 individuals in the group. Now, at some time or another, they have all faced some long-term exclusion for outbursts of anger that have led to physical aggression.
Would that calm you down straight away, though?
No.
No. Is there anything you can think of that might give you a little moment in time to calm yourself down before you reacted to something?
Someone like to talk to.
If you've got someone with you, a friend, you could turn and talk to them. Instead of thinking about the actual problem, you could distract yourself, couldn't you?
When I first started with Andrew, most of our work mainly was in the library. He was a very tense young lad, didn't go into lessons, didn't feel ready to go in lessons, wasn't able to go into lessons. So we come into the library, had to build a relationship up with him really, and get him to talk and feel happy about being in here.
Life is very good. It's just general being in here that makes me happy.
As a result of the behaviour we were talking about earlier, unfortunately Andrew had a long-term exclusion. But when he came back from that, we started off with right from scratch really. And what the group there did with him was give him myself, someone that who had taken the time, get to know him, talk about his whole life really. And that's happened because of if you like, that special environment that we can have in the group, where we can talk through our issues, get to know each other much better, and then trust each other.
I'm Anne Langren and I'm head teacher of Bitten Park Junior School, which is a junior school with 360 children in it, ranging from ages 7 to 11. And amongst those children is a boy called Jack. We liaise very closely with our infant schools, so when children are due to come into the school, we know about all of their needs, whatever they are. And when we talked to the infant school about Jack, we recognised that we would have to do quite a lot in terms of transition.
Jack moved up from the infant school in September, and it's now April. Jack is possibly somewhere on the autism spectrum, though it's not clear where. One of the things that Jack finds difficult is the change and transition, and his entry into the junior school went very, very well with the support of the infants, the juniors, and his class teacher here. And I think the school is very supportive, and the buddy system is one way in which the school has supported him and helped Jack cope with the new environment, and particularly in the playground.
Well, we help them in the playground. If they're in trouble, we try to stop them from doing something. I think it's working really well because it's helping him.
It only started last year, but I think we would all prefer to have had a buddy in year 3 because it helps you get familiarised with the school.
Buddy system really helps me out sometimes. My buddies, well, they're really nice to me and they help me out a lot. The place that you need buddies the most is outside in the playground, Because big kids usually bully small kids like they do to me. Let's go back to the buddy system, shall we? My teacher helped organise it. His name's Mr. Walker. I promised him that I'd tell you that. Because he wanted to be on telly.
In the classroom, I think that Jack, because he has become used to the systems within the school, and the buddy system is obviously one of those systems, he has learnt to manage within the classroom. He settles much more quickly, and he is making progress academically at a much faster rate than we thought he would.
I am a poem. I was famous. People loved me once. I had a wonderful time being a poem. Mr. Orme wrote me. People clapped and cheered when people read me. People loved me when they heard me. But now, people have moved on to read love poems. I am an unwanted piece of paper lying on the ground in an alleyway. Soon a poet will pick me up.
My name is Lorraine Englefield. I'm an ELSA at Hightown Primary School, which is an emotional literacy support assistant. I try to give them the skills that they need to have to do well in today's society. And a lot of the children that we have at school don't have those skills.
For Brandon.
And Billy.
And Billy, good boy, yes, but for Billy. Is it saw?
Yeah.
It's another S word, isn't it? Saw. Can you hear?
Brandon has problems in all areas really of his academic and educational life. He has a speech problem as well, so he's also under the speech therapist. So they do speech and language with him. We do a lot of work with his emotions as well. He finds it hard to control his moods, his temper, things like that. He'll blow, he'll go off and be really angry. And so we try and give him the strategies to calm down and how to deal with his problems. This is the ELSA room where Tracy and I do work with most of our children. We've got lots and lots of different visual displays, as you can see. Lots of things like that. We've got our sand pit and our water tray. Unfortunately, our water tray is not filled up at the moment, where the children can just come and play in the sand. A lot of the children actually have never even seen or been to the beach, so this is our own little part of our beach area. We've got a comfy corner where some of the children come to us and they're quite distressed for whatever reason. So we sit them in our comfy corner and we can talk quietly to them and they're not disturbing the rest of the things that are going on within the room. If the child can remember one thing, if there's one thing that they remember throughout their life that I've taught them, yeah, it's something that's going to be there forever. It's good. Just so as they can cope with life outside, because some of them are really quite damaged. They really are.
The plane moves slowly along linking, is it? Roads called taxiways to the start of the runway.
We were approached by the LEA about a youngster called Marwan, who came with quite a difficult background in the sense that he'd come from Iraq. He's a refugee, he was blind, severely visually impaired, and of course that raised a lot of concerns for the staff in terms of how we were going to cater for really quite challenging needs that we'd not met before as a school. We got lots of support from external agencies such as social services, such as advisory teachers, who gave us advice and guidance on how to meet Marwan's needs. I think the other telling thing has been actually how well the staff have worked to make sure that Marwan can access the curriculum as fully as he can, and the really positive reaction of the pupils in the school who've been really eager to support Marwan and to actually make sure that he feels socially a member of the school community.
Always help Marwan down the steps and that, and I help him to lessons.
I really do get along with Marwan. He's a really good friend. I find it easy to talk to him.
I began working with Marwan last year when I was in a social services role as a rehabilitation officer. In fact, at that stage I was still at college and I was training as a rehabilitation officer, but I was lucky enough to get the family, the elder brother and Marwan as part of my caseload, and have been appointed to work one-to-one with Marwan with particular reference to his Braille teaching, and I'm also in effect teaching him English and general social skills, plus I have to prepare his maths in Braille, and I'm teaching him on the computer to use both dedicated programmes and also to improve his touch typing.
Good.
Good, well done. Our dog barks at cats.
I'm definitely, I go to university, I just carry on with my best in school. And after that, I might leave in school this year, and I think I went to college for, well, I go to college for 4 years, and after that, maybe I'm going to university, I think. Oxford University.
I think as a school community, I think it's been a really positive experience of how a challenge can be met that initially we thought was a major concern. Yet we have coped with it, we've managed them effectively, Marwan's done well, and his future looks a lot brighter now than it perhaps did a year ago. And I think that, you know, the school and the staff can rightly be very proud of that.